Hi and hello and welcome to 2 Men On. I, of course, am Fred Slow. Alongside me, hi and hello and welcome to 2 Men On. I, of course, am Fred Slow. You are Van Nunley, and
Yep.
we are doing it through the world of the internet today. A little midday surprise for those at home, as Van and I are reaccustoming ourselves to our multi-day format because we have a ton going on in the world of the program, and there's a ton going on in the world as we know it. Van, welcome.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much. There's not enough time with us on a microphone
Yeah.
to discuss everything that's going on in the sports world, pop culture world, political world. So we're going to give you all we can in this short little stint, and we're doing it with the power of the internet.
How very excited we are for our new partnership with Adams Radio Group. You can catch us now in Las Cruces on Classic Rock 98.7. That's going to be a lot of fun for us as we now don the airwaves again here in New Mexico. What a cool thing, Van Nunley.
98.7 The Fist. I don't think that's the name. That's not the name of it.
KSNM.
It's about to be.
Okay. Obviously, it's all of southern New Mexico, not just Las Cruces. So you can hear us, Truth or Consequences, obviously everywhere that you do tune in. So it's there. And then the sister stations, KWML, KGRT, which is the FM, and then KHQT. So a lot of fun that we are going to have reaching not just our digital audience as we traditionally have, but starting this Saturday morning, you can catch us on Classic Rock 98 points.
Incredibly stoked. As you know, I spent 6-7 years. I don't even know exactly how long in Las Cruces.
Remember how long.
Oh, they remember very well. Thank God the statutes of limitations have lapsed, so I can work in Doña Ana County again. I am very excited to be back in Cruces.
Now, will you pronounce the county for me one more time?
Anglicized?
Yeah, the way that I
Spanish.
The way that I can.
Well, you would say it, Doña Ana.
Doña Ana.
Doña Ana.
Doña.
Doña Ana.
Doña Ana.
Doña Ana.
Doña Ana.
Doña Ana.
That last one was close. So we will do our absolute best to give you the updates on concerts, events, what's happening, news of the day, and everything, not just in Las Cruces, all of New Mexico and southern New Mexico. So I love it. So I'm basically Peter Frampton here because, baby, I love your way.
Oh, love that so much. You show them the way.
I got you. A lot going on in the world as we know it. Often we've been ending the program too staunch with our political everything, so we'll open up a little bit lighter today. Van, the lineup is officially out. We already knew the halftime performance, which was Bad Bunny. We knew that was happening.
Bad Bunny!
Now, help me out.
Okay.
Because if I were to go to the Coliseum, if it was the day and age.
Roman?
Yeah, the Roman.
Okay.
If it was the day and age when I had opportunity as either a very rich Roman or a very a peasantry Roman, I would struggle to find a seat at the Coliseum because the way that they would be numbered is nonsensical to me. If I had to go to a section and then if I had to find a seat number, I don't know what IVILLLVI means as it relates to the section that I could afford at the Coliseum.
Wait, are you in the Milli Vanilli section? What did you just say? MILLIVANILLI?
I pull up my tablet, which is not digital, but it's what they put my ticket on. So I pull up my tablet, my rock tablet, and it says section XIILIV. I go, okay, I don't know what that means. And then it says seat.
That's 134.
Okay, so that's what the second. No, I don't have the kind of money for that.
That's not true at all whatsoever. I'm just guessing.
I don't have enough Roman shillings. I don't know what Roman juice.
Right.
So and then it's seat number IIVLIIX. And I go, I don't know what I'm doing here. But that's what this Super Bowl is. It's Super Bowl. I'm going to make sure I got this right. Super Bowl LX.
Well, that's an easy one. That's just 60. Also, it's a model of Lexus, I think.
The Lexus 60.
Mm-hmm.
So Bad Bunny's halftime.
Correct.
And then Green Day is performing. Have you seen Green Day before?
I have seen Green Day in person. They were at a music festival I was at one time.
Okay, so Green Day.
Following
What year was this?
08, 09.
Okay, that makes sense. That's the American Idiot tour.
Yeah.
So then, who was on top?
I don't remember. I remember who was the power bottom though.
Nope, talking about the festival.
Oh, the festival.
Billy Joel Armstrong.
I think it was Green Day.
It would be.
Yeah, Green Day was a headliner. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting to. And I think for Green Day to even be in the conversation of willing to be a quote unquote side act to anyone at the Super Bowl, it would have to be someone substantial, and that is Bad Bunny. You know, that is like a name that worldwide does dwarf Green Day in the world of entertainment and music right now.
Oh, no. Pitbull's Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, I'm very racist.
It's different. It's different. You're getting a mix. You're doing a you people thing again, Fred.
Well, that's me, but I'm also very proud of the Super Bowl because whenever I saw the Green Day announcement, what I do is I check Carlsbad Facebook because you've addicted me to it.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
You want the pulse of the South.
Yeah.
You want the pulse of the Red Hat. Check out Carlsbad Facebook.
Carlsbad,
it's incredible.
New Mexico.
Carlsbad, New Mexico Facebook, not California.
Not California.
Different vibes out west.
So
yeah, I love what the NFL did, and whoever was the decision maker here, I'm assuming it was Jay-Z. If the Fox News World, One America News World, Newsmax World was pissed off about Bad Bunny,
yeah,
it's like, you go crazy, I will raise you one Green Day. And we're trying to figure out some tech diffs on our end. Fred disappeared for a second. I'm assuming he will be right back. But my favorite thing about the Bad Bunny, and we've talked about this before on the program, is a lot of people in the world don't know that he's actually American, and Puerto Rico is part of the United States of America. And he used our guerrilla capitalist society to find fame and fortune and fly his red, white, and blue flag right next to our red, white, and blue flag. And I'll tell you what, this is wildly entertaining to see how this wasn't just a blip in the news cycle. It's still continuing. It's still going right now to the point where there are alternative concerts popping up, whether it's the MAGA concert or the Kid Rock concert or the Turning Point USA halftime show, whatever it may be. It is wildly entertaining, and I'm here for it. And the Bad Bunny, we were talking about ancient Rome and the Colosseum and Fred not knowing how to find his seat using Roman numerals. Like if Bad Bunny was from Sicily, would people be saying like, no, he's not an Italian, he's Sicilian, he can't perform at the Colosseum because, oh, he's just a Sicilian, he's not part of Italy. Look, it's all the Roman Empire. All the other territories of the Roman Empire, you're still Roman. Like how the Bad Bunny stuff is still going on to this day is wild. I'll tell you what, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, more Bad Bunny, more from the world of sports and pop culture. Give us one hot second. We'll be right back.
Back to the program, welcome back to Two Men On, where I had to navigate through Windows update to 17.1 or whatever all of a sudden.
That's a bummer. I had to do that the other day, and it's very unfortunate. It happened right in the middle of our program.
There was apparently just a countdown that I wasn't seeing, and it said, "Here we go."
Well, while you're away, restarting and adding the new update, which we could talk about the iPhone update here in a little bit as well. Okay, your new Windows update. Unsure how it looks now, or everything's the same. But while you're gone, I was talking about your trouble finding your seat in the Roman Coliseum, and I related it to if Bad Bunny in the time of the Roman Coliseum was Sicilian, would the Italians have a problem with him performing at the Coliseum halftime show because he wasn't a real Italian, he was only from Sicily?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing about I've never been to Sicily. To me,
welcome.
Bad Bunny, no matter what day and age, is going to catch heat from some minority group. Like, well, I guess technically it's a majority group right now. I guess
silent majority group.
What part of the country you're in? But that same group that had, for whatever reason, had a passion against Bad Bunny performing, they've now also turned that attention towards the Green Day. Like the Green Day now, which by the way that's our thing. Like I am 41, you're 43. Like that is our thing. When Dookie came out, Dookie was made for us.
Yeah.
When American Idiot came out, American Idiot was made for us. And as we sit here at this age, and no, they're not singing about traumatized teen angst anymore, the way that some bands have tried to hold on to that, cough, cough, Blink-182. They are singing about like the world that surrounds them, and they're updating the lyrics of their songs, and they're not necessarily protest anthems proper, but they're protest anthems conceptually. And what they've done is brought us, this audience, along with them. And now so many of the people that I'm familiar with in my life, 40 to 50 years old, that should still be in love with Green Day because you're supposed to love the music you loved when you're 13 years old forever. They, for some reason, want to hate it. They, for some reason, all of a sudden don't remember the decades of experience and exposure to them. And it's all turned, Van. Like, everyone I know is brainwashable, ?
And it's getting easier and easier every day. Well, like Green Day took the spirit of classic punk rock and made it palatable to a wider audience and found insane success. They were on top of the world for a few different stints of my adult life. And we were talking about this before we had some tech diffs, but the audacity of Jay-Z or whoever gets to pick these performers, all the heat that Bad Bunny got, and they're like, no. You thought Bad Bunny was bad. We'll raise you a Green Day.
Yeah.
Do you remember American Idiot? That was about George Bush. George Bush looks like Jimmy Carter compared to Donald Trump. George Bush looks like first administration Barack Obama compared to Donald Trump. When they change the lyrics to talk about what's going on now, you're going to pray for more Bad Bunny.
The truth of that pursuit, right, is how, because obviously the voices of the very vocal minority are not heard here in the world of entertainment as it relates to the NFL. By the way, the NFL is a thing that this exact audience swore off years ago because of protests on the sidelines, an anti-national anthem, and we can kind of run the list, right?
Sure.
But now, because they have this weaponized organization in ICE, and they have this, what they believe to be consensus of the United States, which is not true. They believe to be mission to disrupt and interrupt. Somebody's going to run, and I'm just going to pull a name out of thin air, Kid Rock. Somebody is going to run a counter program.
That's already happening. Both Kid Rock and Turning Point USA have counters to the halftime show.
See, and I didn't know that to be true, but this is how I understand entertainment to work. And they're going to do this exact thing you're talking. The way that WWE used to run, a wrestling match opposite halftime, because halftime, wasn't at that time the destination, and it wasn't really made the destination until. And you were talking about Jay-Z booking all this stuff until MTV took over that one in 2001, right? Is that the one they took over? And that one, and Nelly was in that one, which I was super about because I was from St. Louis. But that's when it became a destination. You know, I mean, I recognize Michael Jackson, like Miss Me with all that stuff. But like then all that stuff kind of died off, where it was like there's no, you don't put anything up against the halftime show because it's going to become water cooler talk. You know, it's going to become all of that kind of thing that you have to be plugged into. But that audience will immediately, I mean, seconds after it's over, that audience that doesn't watch it will say it's the worst one ever. That audience that doesn't watch it will say it was the biggest waste of time ever. That audience that didn't watch it will try to disrupt the actual narrative. And you'll notice a pattern here in every single thing, but this is just like a really spotlight one for America to see. Well, the world.
And it's still going. I thought it would just be like a little hiccup. It would be a little burp. It would be a little Tootsie Boy, you know, in the news cycle. But here we are months later still talking about the Bad Bunny halftime show.
Yeah.
And this goes back to like, you know, two talking points right here I'm going to smash together. Number one, the NFL and all of their marketing, all of their PR, all of their research and development, they know the pulse of the country and the world. They know what the middle, the giant gray area of people who are NFL fans and pop culture fans, they know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Bunny was the best choice for this demographic. And this plays into, I mean, who we're responding to right now, who we're talking about right now, they're a itty bitty sliver of people on each far end of the spectrum. All this stuff that you're seeing on social media, all this stuff that's trying to get you upset about something on the news, this is for a very small populace, and they're trying to engage and radicalize people on the fringes of this giant gray area, which, dare I say, me and you, Fred, we're right in the middle of, that we understand, that we get, that we have our finger on the pulse of. We understand this giant gray area, this giant majority in the middle, because if the loudest voices on each end of the spectrum were in charge and were getting answered to, you wouldn't have Bad Bunny. You wouldn't have Kendrick Lamar. You wouldn't have a Dr. Dre and Snoop and Eminem. You wouldn't have, because this is what most people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the zeitgeist of culture that you're seeing. If they couldn't get Taylor Swift, and I'm assuming Taylor Swift, the biggest artist in the world, they couldn't get her, Bad Bunny is the next optimal choice.
Yeah. And from there, because you're going to get this super cool thing at homes, right? And this is the first year in years where you and I won't be at the Super Bowl, but you're going to get all this thing at home where it's going to be the adult that's not familiar with Bad Bunny, but the kid is, right? So you're going to get like this cohesion that you don't necessarily always have in entertainment. And, you know, there was for a lot of years, I think we've talked about this before, but for a lot of years, there was this argument, you have to do rock and roll one year, and then you have to do other the next year. Yeah. You have to alternate. And rock and roll just doesn't exist anymore. Oh, wait, let's add Green Day. Okay. Like that's as, and I know they're not doing the halftime proper. They're just, you know, around the thing, but you're doing your best to, like, genre wise. And it, to me, the problem is not genre. The problem is yourself.
Sure.
And, yeah. And that's when you're never going to win, because you won't allow yourself to enjoy the media and creations of others, which is wild. Speaking of the world of media, they are out, Van. You say they is what? They is Oscar nominations. And there's some, I think Oscars have changed too. So all the big ones are out. They came out this week, and it's Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director. I kind of think are the big ones. We don't super need to dive into the other ones, but those are the big ones, right? So I think the idea of creating movies just to win Oscars has kind of fallen to the wayside. Like, I think for a lot of years, there were a lot of films created that were designed to win Oscars, including release date, including cinematography stuff, including promotion, including how they go through film festivals. And like, it was a formula to it. And I think that this Sinners with Michael B. Jordan has broken the mold. Now, have you seen this yet?
Oh, I love Sinners.
Okay.
Great movie.
I haven't seen it, but I will. Like, I'm going to see it. But it's the movies that should win Best Picture never win. Like the most popular pictures, the Transformers movies, or the Lord of the Rings is not a good example, but like all these movies that should always win never win. Marvel movies, they never win. But this one kind of has that kind of energy, right? This is the one where it's like, oh, this is just a mainstream banger that is the best film of the year, and it's not going to end up being a weird artsy thing that only losers like sitting in front of big screens listening to long dialogue. Like,
well, okay, well, you're talking directly to me right now because I do like cinema, and I don't only watch Marvel movies and Fast and the Furious like you do.
Mhm.
And I thought it was a great year for movies, a great year for cinema, and they're well represented in the Best Picture category. But like, I'll make a hard disagree with what you said. The most popular isn't always the best, and I think the Academy has to make that distinction over what is art, what is somebody creating something beautiful, unique, and different versus somebody who made the most popular thing.
I think the most popular thing is about being felt, though, right? Like Sinners, which I'm going to watch, and I saw the other one. I saw the Leonardo DiCaprio one. It wasn't for me, but that's because of my preference in film. The idea that if you can create a movie that's absorbed by the masses, I think that's a measuring stick. There's like a value to that. The Shape of Water sucked. Like I that's the one I always go to because it was so bad.
Yeah,
but it's like you're not just doing an award show for the very small group of people. That's why no one watches it anymore. Because there's no relatability. You're not. But now, if you want to root for Haley Steinfeld, if you want to root for Michael B. Jordan, if you want to root for Leonardo, whatever we're filling in the name, people you're familiar with, if you want to root for people you're familiar with, you can do that again now. You can do that, in my opinion, with the films that are currently in like an opportunity to win. Also, with the way films are being made now, there's not going to be a bunch of these brand new opportunities because new films aren't super coming out the way they historically did. You're getting a remake or you're getting a sequel or you're getting a whatever. So hopefully this is like a new example. Frankenstein's a remake, right? Or I guess it was a reimagining. But
reimagining for sure. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, man. I think if there was a time where you're like, cool, the pandemic's over, filmmaking is back to what it is. There also is a little bit, it seems to me, an effort to save movie theaters by creating films we're seeing in movie theaters, as opposed to the long. What was the one, Oppenheimer? Where you just watch people talk to each other for 3 hours. That movie's better at home. Like, you don't need that. You need Mission Impossible at the theater. Like, and that's what I think we're getting into here with film. Also, with the way they have these weird Netflix exclusive or HBO exclusive streaming afterwards, you're going to end up in maybe buying your way to winning. But I think you're going to get some good movies for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I could draw a fine line. I show up and watch Marvel movies when they come out because they're giant and fun and exciting and engaging and fun to watch. And, they make those movies for the theater experience with the vibrating chairs and the giant speakers in the walls. It's fun and engaging and entertaining. But what matters to me more is engaging filmmaking, like creating art, trying to do something different with film. And I thought there were some great examples of that this year, like Begonia. Like, that was a great movie. I really enjoyed that one. F1. I think F1 is more of like what you're talking about, like more broad appeal to like the Marvel moviegoer, the Fast and the Furious moviegoer, but still a good movie. Frankenstein, the reimagining. I thought that was really smart, really well done. Wasn't crazy about Hamnet because that's what you're talking about right now, the slow movie where they're only talking to each other. Marty Supreme was incredible. You said One Battle After Another wasn't for you, and I hard disagree. That I think it will probably win over a close, heated battle against Sinners, but I love that one. I think Sentimental Value is the only one that was nominated I haven't seen this year. But they're all great candidates, and it's all like a great mix of entertainment, what I would call a movie, and then art, which I would call cinema. And I think they are bridging that gap now and making it more fun and entertaining to go back to the movie theater, and still you're able to get that, high art creation that hasn't existed in a few years.
I'll tell you a thing that's really cursed me in film is, as I've grown older, professionally, I've had a lot of opportunity to work with young adults. Professionally, I have a day job where I'm so very fortunate to work with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and I haven't just done that recently. I've done that my entire life, right? And I think there is this misconception of adults. We'll use our age because we can speak mostly to it, the 40-ish year old, where they believe when they were kids that they had a ton of capability. And they believed when they were kids that they were in a position to punch above their weight. And as we've advanced in age, including the directors and the writers that make film that maybe don't have daily exposure to kids, they don't realize just how dumb kids are. And they don't realize how much kids need help. And they don't realize how kids are directionless and cannot function for themselves. And I know lots of people listening are like, well, my kid's special. And everyone listening is like, well, I know a kid that is as slick as any kid. It's not true. I promise you it's not true. And that's what lost me with One Battle After Another, where there was this whole narrative around this child character that was basically invincible. And I'm going, that's not how kids function. And if you're going to write like a story that pushes like a indestructible child something, you got to give me a premise to buy into. And like it was not there in that film for me, and I got so long.
I'm thinking you didn't watch the movie.
Is that the
because
one
this kid was very fallible, very scared, out of its element, was being bounced around from one handler to another, did nothing like extra natural or supernatural, was kind of like pretty representative of what a teenage kid would be in this situation.
Not to spoil, but that's not accurate. Like every opportunity there was for this kid to rise to the very difficult task of, and we're talking like life changing things that you can do to other people, just fine, just perfect, just did it.
Like, I think there's only one moment where they did something like really smart to get themselves out of a jam. Everything else was the actions of others. Like that was my favorite part of One Battle After Another, is both Leonardo DiCaprio's character and the teenager you're talking about failing up, kept progressing through the story through the superior actions of others, and they were just kind of along for the ride accidentally.
There's the way it's set up in storytelling, and you know this, you've been a fan of cinema a long time. You show me a character's flaws, and then you show me how they overcome these flaws. That's their story arc, right? That's their growth. That's right. The Luke Skywalker doesn't know he possesses the ability to leave Tatooine to save the universe until he has to because his family's murdered. Also, spoiler alert if you've never seen Star Wars. If his family's not murdered, he just leaves because he's a whiny kid who wants to get out of town. Like, you have to have the right motivations for characters, and I didn't feel that connection there.
I think what you are describing about showing someone's flaws and how they make it through it is Leo DiCaprio's character from the movie. His biggest flaw is, all of his shortcomings throughout life, all the horrible decisions he's made. And then his child's shortcomings is they're his daughter. And they are not set up for success because he is a loser of epic proportion, but somehow he magically makes it through. I think I gave enough away without giving away spoilers.
Yeah. Also, the kid being his daughter, that one's even up for interpretation. Like that, there's so much going on in this thing where you're like, okay, like I feel it. But we'll come back to it after the Oscars because there's no reason to ruin it for anyone at home. I know we have to step away. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that movie will win Best Picture and maybe Best Director. But I think what segued us into this topic is the success of Sinners. Like, it set a record for nominations.
16 of them.
That is nothing to sneeze at. It set the record by 2 more nominations.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see Sinners miss out on the two big ones, maybe three big ones, best picture, best actor, best director, and then win everything else. Because stylistically, that movie was so different and so unique that, costuming, screenplay, music, cinematography, all these other things were so incredible in the movie that it's going to win so many awards and just none of the big ones.
Well, and I tell you what's really going to cook it, though, is, and I don't think it's since Psycho, which is forever ago in the world of film, but horror movies just don't win. And like genre-wise, they're not selected, by those at Power that do that selection. That's unfortunate because not to spoil, and I haven't seen it in its entirety, but I know the premise. That's a complex story and setting too. So it's like I like shoot 'em up, I like monsters to an extent, but also like the greatest monster of all is the neighbor that surrounds us. So there's all these cool categories. But also side note to this, this is I think the first year officially where if you are an Oscar voter, you have to watch all the films because you didn't have to apparently previously.
Yeah.
Also, isn't it like $100 handshake kind of thing? That's my understanding, Van. Like, don't they just?
I mean, historically, it was pretty obvious that was the case. Like, it's like, okay, it's so wild that like Car and Driver and Motor Trend pick one company every year to win all the awards. It's the same thing with production companies. Like, oh my God, one movie production company is going to win all the Oscars. Another movie production company is going to win all the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
It's no surprise to me that some palms are getting greased to get those trophies.
And then the American Film Institute is like, we'll take a payoff too.
Yeah. What indie guys got some money?
Step away to come back and listen to Two Men On. Got me there. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Two Men On, where Van and I are so very fortunate to now multiple times a week reach you, the audience at home, through a bunch of different outlets. And it is, Van, our return to terrestrial radio here in New Mexico. And I'm super excited about it, as you and I now are classic rock guys.
Yeah, super excited. I got a stack of classic rock records. I can't wait to talk about things that aren't relevant anymore. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, so you can catch us on 98.7 Classic Rock in Las Cruces. That does get you all the way up to Truth or Consequences. So if it is the first time you tuning in with us, welcome. We're so very excited. But down there on weekends, big thank you to Adams Media. It is a huge privilege to be a part of the KSNM family and the FM broadcast, which, Van, I believe on a cloudy night will get you to like the state line. Well, not the Texas one, like the Arizona one, like all the way over.
I'm excited to like have some old friends rekindle relationships from the Las Cruces and surrounding area when they hear my name. And I thought that guy thought he was on the Lamb from The Law. Like, where'd he go? I haven't heard of this guy in a decade.
Correct. Not a dedicated sports station by any means, so you'll hear a lot more conversation about us from the world of pop culture, current events, news of the day. So a little bit of sports talk, though. This past week, I was so very fortunate to have a fairly significant role over at Comic-Con. Van, I've become king of the nerds, which is a cool thing. was able to host some fun panels, including The Walking Dead, including lots of pro wrestling stuff, including entertainment, man. And it was awesome. It was the largest crowd ever for the Comic-Con, which is how fun. And nerddom has become mainstream, Van. And when you and I were exploring our fandoms of whatever star-based show or movie you liked as a kid, or for me, and you and I were both big Highlander guys. We thought Highlander was cool. I think it was the classic rock soundtrack. Thank you to Queen. But yeah, there was a lot. But like, I met Flash Gordon over the weekend. I met Henry Winkler. I met like all these people, and they're just celebrated for like ever now. And there was a time when that was a little bit closeted. Van, talk to me a little bit about how you have seen nerddom and pop culture and mainstream combine over, really feels like since COVID, like a collaboration between all these things.
Well, I've been a dork for quite some time. That's not going to surprise any listener of the show, but mine is more like things that are a little more mainstream than niche. Like,
yeah.
I love baseball. I can dork out on baseball. I love hip hop. I can dork out on hip hop. I love Star Wars. I've seen every minute of every Star Wars, anything, real life or cartoon, that's existed in the whole Star Wars universe. Right. Star Wars isn't, niche. It's like you can be a dork and love Star Wars, but it's not like,
I only like the first season of Battlestar Galactica. I mean, the first season of Battlestar Galactica, they really stuck to the original storyline. Yeah. It wasn't until season 3 where they got the new showrunner and they brought it back into the Battlestar Galactica that we really loved and came to enjoy throughout the years.
It's not like niche like that, but I know what it's like to obsess about stuff. I know what it's like to be a dork about stuff, and I love it for dork or nerd or enthusiast or whatever is the hot term for someone who's obsessed about something right now. You have an outlet for that, and it's getting more and more popular and bigger and more socially accepted. Like, not even just during Comic-Con, you can see here in Albuquerque, people just walking around in whatever their favorite cosplay costume is, or going to like a house party as people dress up as Pokemon or furries or whatever, and how it's like more socially acceptable to let your freak flag fly. I'm here for it.
Some stuff I wouldn't be able to predict. Like if I come out of a time capsule, from the year 2000 to today, and you'd been like, hey, Freddie, what is like the big feature going to be at Comic-Con today? I would have said, without missing a beat, I would have said The Simpsons. I would have said, because you know how I feel about the decade of dough. We've talked about this a ton. Simpsons in the 90s was the best, like, anti-main opportunity to fall in love with. And you remember the clothing, and you remember all the licensed everything and all the stuff. But that stuff's not celebrated today. That's like this. Maybe it's because of the longevity, but same thing with like Beavis and Butthead. If I would have said, hey, Beavis and Butthead from the 90s would be as relevant as anything today. But that stuff's not there today, the way that I thought it would be from my understanding of what that culture was. So it's wild to me how I don't see what I thought was going to end up being, because those things were, I guess maybe because they were too popular at the time. Is it not cool to be a fan of that because it was popular? But Star Wars is there. Quantum Leap's not. I, for some reason, remember Quantum Leap being a big deal.
It's more Stargate in the dork world.
Oh, is that what it is?
Stargate's the big one.
Yeah. I think, is X-Files the big one still?
Especially now that the director of Sinners is bringing back X-Files.
Oh, see, I didn't know.
Ryan Coogler, did I get that right?
Ryan
Coogler is bringing back X-Files.
And the X-Files was just like a sexy version of like The Outer Limits, or it was like a sexy version of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But instead of like the 3-camera shoot, well, I guess it would have been a 2-camera shoot at that time, where you're just telling like narratives with a handful of people, you get to follow, your 2 favorite characters through all those experiences. But yeah, it was lost on me. Like Mario. Like lost, like, why is there no Mario Prime? Maybe it's the longevity thing. It's just, I think it's incredible to me the things that survived and the things that didn't. Why isn't Doom proficient? Like, I remember Doom and Wolfenstein being the biggest thing in the 90s.
Well, I think because it was too big.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars and Marvel might be the only thing that it's in the nerd world that transcends popularity. Because The Simpsons, it's just too popular. It's too big to be like a Comic-Con thing. Like every once in a while, you'll see people dressed up as a Simpsons character, but I think that's the exception, not the rule. And it's not cool to choose the most popular thing. Like, I'm not taking a leap here. I'm not taking a chance when I say I love baseball and hip hop and Star Wars. Like, those are like three incredibly safe things. But, if I said I only like Battlestar Galactica's early stuff, like there's some people out there who'd be like, oh, pull up a chair, Van. Let's hear all about it.
Well, you do kind of do that though, like with baseball. Like, I mean, I have sat with you like belly to the bar with a beer, talking to a stranger, and you go, I did appreciate baseball a lot more before the DH. Yeah. And I go, that's the lamest thing I ever heard. The weird part is when you say you appreciated baseball before Jackie Robinson. That part's weird. I don't like how you stand on that. So
the only thing I appreciated about baseball before Jackie Robinson is the nicknames.
Yes.
And sometimes their birth certificate name.
There's like
I would sit at the end of the bar and say stuff like, in 1887, Four Fingers McGinty, his curveball was absolutely unhittable. He had a 0.83 balls in play against his left-handed curveball. But the crazy thing is, he had three fingers on his right hand, and he had a changeup that would just dive into right-handers' feet, and they only hit 0.47 against, which ends up being a wins above replacement of 7.4. And during that time, the average WAR for a pitcher was actually 3.4. So Three Fingers McGinty in 1887 had a season as good as 1999 Pedro Martinez, and he gets no credit for it.
And
that's the kind of stuff I would
statistically speaking, Andrew Jones got into the Hall of Fame, and his numbers put up parallel to Jim Edmonds, including Jim Edmonds' one championship and his number of All-Star appearances and his final finishing and MVP voting in the 2005 season does strongly indicate that he was a more qualified Hall of Fame candidate than Andrew Jones. But Andrew Jones now has a son, and because of the pedigree and the attention to, and by the way, is champion from the USA Baseball Writers Association of America. And you always finish your sentence with, "But you're not ready for that." You go, "What? What do you mean I'm not ready for that?" Like, it was that easy. Like,
well, actually, Fred, Andrew Jones' 10-year peak is just as good as any center fielder. Put Andrew Jones' 10-year peak up against Willie Mays' 10-year peak, and you got basically the same baseball player. The problem is it took him a long time before he found his real footing in Major League Baseball, then had the huge fallout at the end of his career. But that 10 middle, that's a Hall of Fame player, Fred.
Which I guess is the exact same as, man, whenever you sit down and you put on your entire tabletop, and you're going to use grids here, right? Because whenever you're measuring the distance between your attacking units and your defending units in the Warhammer universe, you have to understand that the playability of the mat is a huge factor. So if you don't have a millimeter degree of, and by the way, it has to be writable, square dynamical board, and then you go, oh yeah, this is the same thing.
Yeah, not far off. Yeah. Not at all.
No, just let me tap my mana, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, while Ready to Die by Biggie is one of the best hip-hop records of all time, you put it face to face, his discography versus Tupac's discography, Tupac's easily the winner, both in popularity and record sales and technical ability. Just because Biggie had that one huge peak doesn't mean you can't compare their whole careers with, by the way, Tupac transcended hip-hop, went into pop culture, made movies. It's the same thing.
I've been telling you for years, it just doesn't make any sense. The eyeball of the Tyrannosaurus Rex was the size of an eggplant, and it's at 20 foot elevated off the top of its neck. You're going to tell me that you believe in the film Jurassic Park that if you don't move, that an animal land-bearing, the largest of all time, with the largest eyeball and cranium, would not be able to see a person just because they're silently leaned against a car? You can mess me with that. Like, I will overhear that conversation.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm super in. It is Qui-Gon Jinn's fault. It's his whole fault. If he would have just stolen the kid's mom from the, for some reason, stereotype Jewish alien, then it all would have went smoother. The
You know,
whole,
even though Dave Filoni is taking over the Star Wars universe for Disney, I think we are a little bit bombarded with content right now, but I really like his vision for the future of Star Wars. So I'm very conflicted. Like, we tone it down a little bit and only make special one-off projects that fit into the old school canon of Star Wars? Or do we let Dave Filoni, who I trust so much, run with it and create new universes? It's very hard for me as a Star Wars fan.
recognizing that, and I am understanding that it is in different series. The entire run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is in every single way superior to the DC universe outside of the Christopher Nolan Batman 3-run trilogy. And if you don't believe that, I'll even allow you to cherry pick any 3 Marvel movies and put them in. And it has to be chronological order so they can keep track with the DC universe. But you won't find a better run of films. And you go, to all these fans, you go, there has to be more conversations. But they love it. They love it so much.
100%. And as you should. I mean, you should have passions in life. Like, I know the world is trying to beat you down right now, make you angry and scared all the time, especially if you're a United States citizen on either end of the spectrum and or the middle, whether it's just the news cycle making you angry and depressed all the time, or if you have skin in the game and you're either upset or mad all the time by what's going on in the world. Everyone needs an outlet now more than ever. So let your freak flag fly. Hang that dork flag at the top of the rafters and enjoy something, dude.
Also, of all those things we just said, because I'm sitting here doing like my old man Fred thing where I'm like, I don't get stuff today because it's not the same as stuff I had when I was a kid. You know, that's the same thing for like our parents when we had stuff as a kid. You know, aside from Star Trek, like Star Trek's been around the whole time. But like aside from Star Trek and some Star Wars, like my family didn't get why I was into Legos and not erector sets. Well, I don't know either. But like that's just the way it went. Like as a kid, and whatever the thing is now, I don't know what kids are playing with now. Whatever the current, it's Minecraft. Minecraft is the new Lego.
Huge.
Yeah, like because it all
Roblox.
Yeah, we did this one a ton. You know, it's I'm at the Comic-Con doing the stuff, and you hear somebody talking about Logan's Run, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I remember that from the 70s. And they're like, no, it actually just came out, and I go, oh,
didn't know that one.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. Yeah, that's oh, you talking about Dune? Oh, you're talking about the wrong one. Like that's like what has happened to me at this stuff. So I just suck at it. That's what, the animated Lord of the Rings, the one we had as kids, is not as good as the movie Lord of the Rings. It's just not. But to me, it is.
Somebody out there says it is, whether it's you or not. Somebody is very passionate about it that they did it wrong.
The one we had as kids. Oh, I'm not going to know the today guy's name, but we had Carl Sagan when we were kids, right? Like that was my.
Talking Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's the one today.
Yeah,
and
I like both.
They're different.
I got a first edition copy of Cosmos coffee table book at my house right now. I'm a huge Sagan guy. I got a first edition copy of The Dragons of Eden.
Yeah, you are a Sagan guy because we're the same age. I'm a Sagan guy. I'm not. What was the other guy's name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm not about him. Like, and I don't know why. Like, why can't I just like train? I like the original Power Rangers. Don't give me the new ones.
I understand the disdain with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think it's his approach. I think it's his ninny picking of everything scientific and pop culture and the way he presents it. I get it. Carl Sagan was for everyone. He had the cardigan and he leaned into you and he spoke softly. Neil deGrasse Tyson's like,
well, you know, actually, lightsabers can't exist in real life because you know the photons will exist throughout the galaxy. You couldn't really hold a real lightsaber in your hand because the electricity would shock your forearms.
And you know, that time when we were growing up with the influences of our parents, you know, science fiction was really happening. Now, I don't know if you had this, but like I had a moon landing poster on my wall because I got it from my dad at some point, you know, and like. Nobody has moon landing posters on their wall anymore. It's not like the cool, like science isn't moving that way.
The internet reared its ugly face and convinced everyone that it was fake. Shout out to Stanley Kubrick.
Did he do that?
Yeah, he directed the moon landing.
You know, he died during Eyes Wide Shut, and like, I don't feel like people talk about it enough. Like, why did Tom Cruise kill him?
Did he have information on the Clintons? I don't know.
Yeah. What did Nicole Kidman tell him? Like, what is the thing that happened? We have to wrap it up here relatively quick because it's important that we talk about what's going on in our community. Big week in the world of pro wrestling for the city of Albuquerque. This past week, Juggalo Championship Wrestling was here. Comic-Con was here, where I hosted panels with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and did stuff with Gold Dust and a whole bunch of stuff with Mick Foley was here and Lita was here. And then the midgets were wrestling and you know, they're not my flavor, but I get it. You know, people who love that stuff. And then TNA Pro Wrestling at the time of this recording is tonight and tomorrow. So the world of pro wrestling is as healthy as it's ever been in the state of New Mexico. And you and I know better than anyone else just how much effort I have put into that here in the state of New Mexico. So I'm so very proud of this community and their nerd fandom of coming out and support this form of theater and art. And thank you for New Mexico as the rising tide of this type of entertainment that I embrace so much is doing so very well here. So big thank you to everyone who makes the effort to support the world of pro wrestling, including Duke City Championship Wrestling, which I own. Just how fun.
Another DCC dub coming up 2 short weeks away, right? Got some new faces coming into town.
Yeah, February the 7th, in our partnership with the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, that's Throwbilly Silas Mason, will be coming to the historic El Rey Theater. He will face your hometown hero, who is Hobo Hank. That's going to be a world of fun for the fans in attendance and then those that are able to catch it on our YouTube channel afterwards. And of course, the Country Gentlemen, as the Kazanzas, which are now 3rd generation pro wrestlers, are coming to town to take on our tag team champions, the Chili Champions. That is Pretty City Express. So it's going to be a huge bookend to what pro wrestling has been here throughout the course of January and February. And then in March, 2 big shows. You know, March the 7th, Phase 1 is running their big show in town, and then we're going to run 2 weeks after that on March the 28th at the El Rey. So yeah, just a ton in the world of pro wrestling. If you love that, how fortunate we are to be a part of giving it to you. Super
stoked. You know, I'm not a big pro wrestling guy. You know, I love the spectacle. I love the ambiance, and I especially love the backhouse stuff, how the sausage is made. But I only care about the storylines in Duke City Championship Wrestling. Our hero, Hobo Hank, will rise once again, and I will be right here for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Also, to anyone that wants to reach out to us at Talk ABQ and all the social media outlets, we talked a lot about nerd culture today. If you are an enthusiastic ham radio operator, Van's your guy. He's had that passion since he was a kid, and you can reach out to him, and he will beep, beep, boop, boop you.
I've been making walkie-talkies out of ham since I was a child.
Over. I don't know anything about ham radios.
10-4, Alpha.
Yeah. Also, you're into punch cards. Is that what used to run computers? Am I saying that right?
Floppy disks?
No, you're going to like any of those old like municipal buildings, and they used to have like those giant like rolling racks of like punch cards for like computer. Do you know what I'm talking about? Not library stuff, but like yeah, you didn't really work in muni government like I did. The buildings used to be designed around this kind of storage, and now it's like you can fit vacuum cleaner in there. You know, it's
we talked a lot about the Oscars, talked about Best Picture. We didn't talk about Best Actor at all.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay, important question here.
Yeah,
he played twins. Who's going to win, Michael B. Jordan or Michael C. Jordan?
More on that. Time will tell. That's my answer.
Okay.
Oh, there can be only one. There we go. We wrapped up with a Highland. Van Nunley, give me your final words.
Hey, I'll tell you what, super excited to be down in the South, Las Cruces. I don't know if you're ready for us, but hopefully we're being welcomed with open arms. And hey, Lobos, cover your ears real quick. Go Aggies.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Good job, everyone. Should I say my name because we're on radio again? I'm Fred Sliller. You're Van Nunley. Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.